Ladies and gentlemen, the guy at the end of the bar proudly presents the Dantanna's Late Shift. Brought to you by attorney Ray Giudice. And now the two men to take you to new heights in sports conversation, Nick Cellini and Matt Chernoff. Now back to the Dantanna's Late Shift. Brought to you by attorney Ray Giudice with the Cellini All Cello Orchestra and the Chernoff Improvisational Mimes.
And back here on the Late Shift, here he is, the man that got me out of the hot water at Dantanna's. He is Ray Giudice. And again, Ray, it was all in fun. I don't want my mother to think I really spent the night in the pokey.
You were a good inmate.
Is there a chance you can get his record expunged?
What do you eat in jail? Bologna sandwiches?
Bologna, tomato soup, a lot of peanut butter. Yeah, it's 3 hots and a cot. You like it.
I got to be honest, doesn't sound so bad to me.
No.
I got the palate of a 6-year-old.
Well, excuse me, I'm going to go break a window pane right now so I can get thrown in the pokey. Speaking of getting thrown in the pokey, how about getting thrown in the pokey twice in a day and then 3 times over a 5-day span?
Yeah.
That's what happened to Titus Young, as Chris says, former NFL wide receiver.
And what he did was each arrest he got was more serious than the previous one, concluding with a burglary in somebody's house, breaking and entering, obstruction with the officer. That's a felony in every state in the union, and that's a jail time case everywhere. So I don't think he's going to have a contract next year. He's clearly in violation of a morals clause that he would have with any
he's going to have
endorsers.
He's going to have a contract. It's with
maybe
the state of California.
That's right.
Who's basically going to say, this is your time. It's going to be like a contract. They're going to tell him what his time served is, and he's going to make 18 cents a day folding towels.
Making license plates.
I will say this. The owner of that home in California said it's a good thing he didn't come in any further. He had a gun. He was loading the gun. Titus Young would be probably dead today.
Yeah. This is a man that's on a bad train track. It's a train wreck. Don't do that. But again, what warning signals the first time the handcuffs are placed on him on arrest number 1? What didn't go through his head that says, I'm doing something wrong with my life, to say, I shouldn't break into that man's house? So you have to wonder if he's mentally stable. Quite frankly, if I was his counsel, I'd be going through having psychological evaluations on him done. There's been a history of behavioral problems even leading up to the NFL.
Let me tell you this, though. If it was 1872, as he works his way up the crime ladder, he'd stick up a train. Well, I mean, that'd basically be next.
That's right.
Your Honor, my client is insane. He's nuts. That's probably how I would handle it.
Yeah, sure.
And then I yell, "You're out of order!" That's probably
that's a movie.
why
Don't
you're
do that.
the attorney.
And that word didn't work
an
well
insane
there.
person quoting movie lines. Anyway, let's talk about O.J. Simpson.
Right.
Armed robbery, kidnapping, at least 9 years in jail is what he's facing. He was arrested back in 2008. And now he is saying his attorney was incompetent, and that's why he wants a new trial.
Yeah,
is he going to get a new trial?
He might. This is the last gasp effort. And that's to come back and say, these lawyers that I loved when I first hired them, and they were my saviors when I paid them all that money. Now that I've had 4 years to go up to the free law library in the jail and talk to all these other smart guys in there, now I realize my lawyer stunk and he did everything wrong, and I want a new trial. Well, he should be careful what he gets. He may get a new trial. He may get convicted again. He'd get credit for the 4 years he's in jail for, but the standard of care you don't have to have the fairest or best trial. You have to have a reasonably fair trial.
Apparently, he's getting more than 3 hots.
Yeah.
He's 1-1 in the my attorneys are good or they're not. His record is now 1-1. Here's what I know. You don't usually get many do-overs as an adult.
right.
A do-over's a kid thing, and your attorney's problems were your problems eventually, and that's the way the system works.
And what he's also saying is, I didn't testify because my lawyer told me not to testify, therefore I was convicted. The flip side of that is when you let them testify, your client, and they're convicted, they say, you shouldn't have let me testify. You knew that was going to happen.
Guys who walk away scot-free never complain about their attorneys.
That's right.
That's what I know.
Well, let's talk about a personal injury situation. This is the story as it's taking shape right now. A woman walking through Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport in Atlanta, minding her own business. The TSA, they've got bomb-sniffing dogs there. Well, all of a sudden, this lady's walking through and the dog attacks her and bites her in the belly. I think she's got a case, Ray.
She's got a case.
Ouch!
Somebody's going to write her a check. Now, one of the problems is when you have a personal injury case or any kind of litigation against the federal government, the government has all kinds of protective barriers. One is called sovereign immunity. If you want to sue the king, meaning the sovereign, you've got to go through a lot of hoops and hurdles. A lot easier to sue an auto insurance company than it is the government. But at the end of the day, she had an expectation of being safe. The animal was not there conducting any kind of an arrest on her or anybody in her vicinity.
Stay.
And I think she's entitled to compensation.
I'm going to put a T-bone in each pocket the next time I walk to the airport.
That's how I greet my wife every time I come into the house. Thanks for watching, everybody. I don't even know what that means.
You're a man with meat.